Some might say you need a pro camera to take clean photos, but let me show you how you can do it with just an iPhone. In this video, we'll go over the main weakness of the iPhone to help you work around it. We'll set the most optimal camera settings so you can take clean photos, and we'll also go through the editing process as well as give you some shooting advice so you can get a better understanding on how to achieve pro-looking photos straight from your iPhone. So let's get started. The iPhone is very good at taking pictures, but like any camera, it has its limits. Understanding these limits is key to getting clean, pro-looking photos. On the iPhone, the main limit is the sensor size. The iPhone sensor is just 6% of the size of a full-frame camera. So this is what we're trying to work around to give our photos a more clean and pleasing look. To do that, we want to use the 1x lens as much as possible, since it has the biggest sensor. It's also going to give you natural depth of field, which will help your pictures resemble a real camera. The other two lenses have much smaller sensors and equal to only about 2 and 5% compared to big cameras. So when using those, try to shoot in well-lit areas like outdoors in soft daylight or near a window with a strong light source, but never shoot against the light source. This helps reduce noise and make your photos naturally sharper without Apple's algorithms having to kick in. Remember that each time you crop into the sensor, either by zooming or using the built-in crops, you further cut into the sensor's size. Another big difference is the algorithms. A real camera relies only on physics and quality of a lens, while the iPhone photos are basically mostly AI-driven to compensate for the lack of size. This is supposed to help the tiny sensor, but it often can make your photos look over-processed and unnatural, especially if you're shooting in bad scenarios like low light or choosing the wrong lens for the scene. Apple's algorithms can sometimes oversharpen, denoise or oversaturate colors in a way that doesn't look natural. But all of that can be fixed with the tap of just one button. RAW is available on all Pro iPhones starting with the iPhone 12 Pro and on all non-Pro iPhones with certain apps like Halide, Pro Camera, Moment and even Lightroom, as well as many others, though I wouldn't use Lightroom for shooting. It's great for editing photos, not so much for taking pictures, but your mileage may vary. So what RAW basically does is take raw photos without any algorithms applied to them, just as the sensor sees it. And if you're wondering, wouldn't that make the image worse since now there is no algorithms back in the small sensor, you wouldn't be entirely wrong. A raw photo might come out worse initially, but that's the whole point. It's for you to shape it however you like, with just the right amount of sharpening, colors, shadows, and so on. I'll show you how to do that in the editing section. For now, let's move on to the settings. I will be using the stock camera app since I think it's the best one and I have a video explaining why, but if you want to use any other app, that's totally fine. The settings should be roughly the same. Let's start by going into the internal section. For the camera control, I turned off everything except launching the camera, because I find it quite annoying and rather counterproductive. For photographic styles, I choose standard with a -50 offset because this helps tone down the fake processing, making your shadows and highlights more natural and true to life. Though keep in mind that if you shoot RAW, which we will be doing, photographic styles won't apply anyway. This change is only useful for portrait mode or non-pro iPhone users who stick to the main camera app. Next up, we have formats. Here I choose high efficiency to reduce the file size. Most compatible only makes sense if you have trouble sharing your photos to other devices, which I never had. For photo mode, we'll choose the highest setting available, which will give you a higher resolution for portrait mode shots. On Pro devices, we'll activate Pro RAW and Resolution control, which will allow us not only to shoot RAW, but also choose the resolution and format, and since we want the highest quality available, we'll choose the highest resolution and JPEG XL lossless. If you want to know more about the formats, watch this video. Now, so our settings don't default every time we open the camera app, we'll go into Preserve settings. Here you can generally activate whatever you like. None of these impact the picture quality, but the ones we need to activate are macro control, so the iPhone doesn't automatically switch to the ultra-wide lens when it thinks you want a macro photo, photographic styles if you have set a specific setting for it, exposure adjustments which will be useful later, night mode so it doesn't automatically trigger unless you want it to, and live photo so we can disable it once and for all because it's genuinely annoying, it delivers subpar quality photos and takes too much space. Once we have that, we'll go into the composition section and activate grid and level. Grid helps you compose better by putting your main subject here, here or here, And level, well, helps you keep your photos level. In the Fusion camera settings, I have mine set to 35mm as standard, just because I like it that way. It helps me focus more on the subject in the frame, but you can set it to whatever you like. Also, while we're here, activate faster shooting for sharper photos, lens correction so your pictures don't get distorted, and macro control so you have a toggle to activate it manually. Once we have that, we can move into the main camera app. Here we want to deactivate flash, night mode, macro mode, and live photos, so they never get triggered automatically. Set the exposure to -0.3 because the iPhone loves to overexpose, so by doing that we even it out. And if you have a Pro model, activate Pro RAW. Now your iPhone is ready to shoot the most clean and crisp photos, but you have to adjust too, so here's some advice. Make use of a grid by following the rule of thirds. Shoot in soft light and never against the light. Prioritize the 1x lens as much as possible. Shoot in RAW every time you mean to take the best picture. If it's just a casual picture you won't be bothered to edit, deactivate RAW to save space. Avoid portrait mode because it looks unnatural, as well as busy backgrounds. And avoid digital zoom as well as the other lenses as soon as it gets dark. So let's move on into Lightroom. We've got all kinds of pictures here, all shot on the iPhone 16 Pro. And I want to start with this one because it will show how much editing can impact a blend picture. We'll start by resetting it because I've already edited these. Then I'll choose one of my presets, which will give it a base look, and from here we'll start editing by going into color. I'm raising the oranges to make the wood pop, and by the way, don't be afraid to play with the sliders all the way to see what they do, just like I'm playing here with the reds to see what they affect. The preset I applied takes out all of the blues, so we'll get some of them back to make the logo on the wheel more visible. That way, it's going to be easier for your eyes to find what to focus on. Then I want to go into effects and add a bit of a vignette, because the main subject is in the center, so we want to see more of it and less of a negative space around. To make it more subtle, I'll add a linear mask and darken the top so it doesn't blend so much with the seat. Again, I'm just playing here with the sliders to see what they actually do. There is no magic number when it looks best, you just have to know what the sliders do and then you can just start dragging them around. After masking the top, I want to mask the window because it takes the focus from the main subject, but instead of darkening, we'll blow it out so it blends in with the background when we add a white frame to it. And as a last touch, I'm playing with the sliders to add a bit more contrast to the main subject. So here's our before and here's the after. Let's move on to the next photo. This one already looks great as is because I've prioritized the composition and clean background as opposed to the vision I had when taking the previous photo. We'll again go through some presets and I think the fourth one looks best here, but it needs some adjustments. I'll start by going into color section and try to add some blues to the water. Then I want to add some yellows to the trees to make them contrast against the water, as well as some oranges to the buildings in the background. Now, this photo already looks great, but I want to add a finishing touch by selecting the sky and overexposing it so it doesn't draw the attention away from our white boat. And I also want to raise the shadows a bit so the image doesn't look this dark, but I'll keep the blacks so the photo doesn't look washed out. We can also add a bit of contrast on top. Again, here's our before and here's the after. I wouldn't even say it was shot on an iPhone. Let's go to the next photo. As always, I start with a preset, cycling through some to see what fits best. Then I want to go into light and lower the blacks a bit to add a bit of contrast without affecting the other settings. Then I'll go into color and add back the pinks that the preset is missing. I also want to add some yellows to add some more color to the picture, but I don't want it to look like autumn, so we'll make it a bit greener. Then I want to add some oranges so the hair doesn't blend in with the background. And we can also go into the color grading section to add some oranges in the midtones, to give our photos a warmer vibe without shifting the white balance of the photo. Feel free to play with the color wheels as well, to see how they impact the photo. General advice is to add bits of blues to the shadows. This makes most pictures look cinematic, but not ours, since it relies mostly on highlights. I also want to select the background and dehaze it a bit to give it some more contrast and make our subject stand out more. As you can see, I'm always dragging the slider all the way to see what fits best. So here's our before and here's our after. Looks properly color graded, but of course there's always room for improvement. Let's move on to our last photo. To start, I want to use the alignment tool because the house looks a bit crooked due to the nature of a lens. Lightroom does a pretty good job at it. Then again, we'll choose a preset, but this time I want to do something different and play a bit more into the highlights as opposed to my contrasty style. So I'll start with another preset, which already looks good. But there's a few things we need to do. First, we'll add the greens back as well as bits of yellows. Then I want to add some blues to make the windows on the rooftop pop a bit more. I'll also play a bit more with the greens to make them match the overall color and add some pink and lila to make the flowers contrast against the orange building. Now that the colors are done, it's time to clear the image up a bit. I'll select the eraser and turn Generative AI on. This way it does a way better job at removing stuff. Wait for a few seconds, and there you have it. But let's hit refine and see what else it has to offer. I think the third one fits the most. I wouldn't even tell it's AI, so we'll leave it as is. Again, here's our before and there's the after. So there you have it. Following these steps, you'll be able to take some of the most crisp and clean photos with your iPhone.